Last week, but you all are familiar with the character probably that he played on Seinfeld. He was called the Soup Nazi, refused to serve customers if they didn't comply with his strict rules of ordering soup. You might not know companies often profile their customers, though, into good customers and bad customers. Here to help us make sure we are on every company's A-list is Dr. Audrey Gusky from Duquesne University. Audrey, good morning.
Good morning, Sunny. Good morning, John.
And do companies really treat their customers good and bad like that character in Seinfeld did?
Well, it's very interesting because, believe it or not, the Soup Nazi was only on Seinfeld 2 episodes. Nice, interesting trivia question. We all think that he was on for a full season. The reason he was only on, or the reason that we think he was on more, is because he made such an impact. Because as customers, we don't really ever get treatment like that where someone actually refuses a service. But do companies differentiate between the good and bad? Absolutely they do. So maybe may not be as dramatic as the Soup Nazi where he's no soup for you, but it's still the notion that if you're a frequent flyer, you may get obviously preferential treatment, the same with hotels, the same with restaurants. And so you really want to be on the A list as far as being a good customer, so that way you'll get treated better, get better service, cheaper prices, and hopefully better quality.
And a lot of us like to think we are in America. If you make enough of a fuss, if you, as we talked about a couple weeks ago, make an attempt to even contact the manager of a company, you can be treated as good as a good customer would, right?
Absolutely correct, yes. So there are ways to do this, and some of the tips you want to do is you want to make sure you understand the process. If it's a bank, if it's a hotel, if it's a university, what specifically do you need to do? What is the system? How does it operate? You need to know what you want, and you have to tell them specifically what you want. They can't read your minds, and so they really have to understand what particular product or service you're looking for. You have to be friendly too. You have to be a nice customer, because what we found is banks in particular, as well as credit card companies, when you're calling on the phone to make a request, they know instantly from your credit account, from your number, what kind of customer you've been. Have you been a trouble customer? Have you called them often? Have you complained quite a bit? Have you maybe had a lot of charges? Have you not understood specifically how the banking process works? And so as a result, you may not get that extra money back if they've charged you a processing fee. You may not get that extra service. You may wait online longer as a result by not being what they call one of their favorite customers. So that's really your goal, is to get companies to recognize you as one of their favorite customers, one of their best customers, so you will get extremely good customer service, and in the end you're a winning customer.
And going back to the credit card company issue here, a lot of people might know if you do have good credit and if you make a point to pay your statements on time, there is the option of calling and saying, hey, can I have a lower interest rate? I actually did that once and it worked, but a lot of people don't know you have the option as a customer, right, to call and request something like that?
Absolutely. You have to be a proactive customer, Sunny, and that's a very, very good point. If you understand the notion that if you do call your bank or your credit card company and say, hey, I've been an excellent customer, could you please relook at my file? A lot of times companies won't do that, but you as a customer can make that request, and as a result, I would bet that the majority of times you will actually get that lower interest rate.
And one more question for you, Audrey. JetBlue Airlines has been in the news a lot lately. We have a lot of unhappy flyers out there. What is something that you might suggest to someone to get better service as an air traveler, given all of the recent problems that have been out there?
Well, and you look at yesterday too, Sunny, with the US Air and the notion they had issues with the kiosk. You obviously need to understand different processes. So what happens if the kiosks are down? You need to understand how much time you need to get to the airport. The simple basic things. When you're calling, there's certain phone numbers you can call, so that way you're a frequent flyer number instead of a regular customer number, which will get you immediately to someone and much better service. So you really need to understand the processing, the pricing, go online, get the information as much as you can, and if in doubt, call someone, but it's probably best to go online and book all your reservations, because you do save money in the long run with that.
Okay, Dr. Audrey Gusky from Duquesne University, our consumer expert. Audrey, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thanks, Sunny. Thanks, John.